Добрий вечір, everybody! My name is Masha, I'm Ukrainian, and today I'll share with you 5 household items popular in Ukraine that may surprise you. I'll tell you why our toilet paper is grey and why we need a plastic bag with plastic bags and many other interesting things. So let's begin. Grey toilet paper is very common. It may seem unusual, but it is a popular choice in Ukraine. By the way, it's grey because it's made of recycled paper. Just imagine, in my early childhood, I had no idea about white toilet paper. When I saw it on TV, I thought that only wealthy American had it. Grey toilet paper was everywhere, in people's home, in cafes, everywhere. In general, there are 3 types of it available in Ukraine: classic grey, cheaper grey, and Barbie style. Some genius decided to paint toilet paper pink. The main difference from white paper is obviously color, but grey toilet paper is also rougher and not divided into separate pieces. It is and always was inexpensive. A roll of grey toilet paper currently costs 30 cents. There is a 3 times cheaper than white paper. Is it much worse than white? Not significantly. Does anyone still use it? Absolutely. In many apartments in Ukraine, the floor is covered with linoleum. Probably similar to your country, linoleum is not a trendy flooring option in Ukraine. However, it's still widely used due to its affordability and durability. Linoleum is easy to install on any type of floor, even like that. By the way, 100 years ago it was a luxurious material and very rich people wanted to have it at home. And did you know that almost the entire Titanic was covered with linoleum? I was really surprised. And even after being underwater for so many years, it still looks decent. I must admit that I'm a fan of linoleum. If you invest in a good quality one, it can look great. In the apartment where I grew up and in most of the places I have lived, linoleum was the flooring choice. And I never found it tasteless. I still remember coming back from summer camp once and finding that my parents has replaced our old linoleum with a luxurious one. Previously we had a very cheap and low quality one, which builders usually install before handing over a new apartment. But the new one was gorgeous. It made a significant difference and I still love how it looks today. I agree that linoleum can look bad, especially with strange patterns or colors. It can also be associated with hospitals or old-fashioned offices. I get it. However, not for me. Okay, let's move on. Most of us have a plastic bag filled with plastic bags. I'll call it the bag because plastic bag filled with plastic bags, there are too much words. It may seem strange, but it is quite common in Ukraine. So almost everyone in Ukraine has their one, especially our grandmothers. However, young people often feel embarrassed about having it, which is unfair for my opinion, because it's very eco-friendly habit to reuse a bag instead throwing it away and buying a new one. When I moved away from my parents, I had my first own bag. I even remember the day when I put the first plastic bag in a plastic bag, and it amused me. It felt like a rite of passage into adulthood. And throughout my few moves between apartments, I have always bought the bag with me. And it's not just a habit, it's a lifestyle. Many of us have cluttered balconies. Oh yeah, balconies in Ukraine are often in complete chaos. It's not that place that we show to guests, definitely, because it's filled with things that don't have a proper place. Those items are either in the way or should be recycled or sold. This is mainly due to the lack of storage space in our apartments. And balconies are usually separate from the main living space and are perfect for storing extra items. For example, many people store their Christmas trees on the balcony because there is no other suitable place for it. The same goes for boxes of seasonal shoes, especially when there are shoes for different seasons for the entire family. This can easily be at least 12 boxes, which is just nowhere to store, so they end up on the balcony. By the way, I'm aware that in Poland there is something called piwnica. These are small separate places in the basement where people can store their stuff. This is not common in Ukraine. Do you have something like that? Please let me know in the comments. And for the end, just take a look at it. It seems like this exhibit is at least 30 years old. So this is a hand truck. I'm not sure how you call it. Let me know, please. In Ukraine we call it kravchuchcka, in honor to the first president of Ukraine, Leonid Kravchuk. I have already told you about him in my previous video. This name is coincidentally associated with his presidential period. It was time when those hand trucks started to appear actively in Ukraine. By the way, our Mr. Ex-President has not commented on naming choice ever, but I would like to hear his opinion. These devices have always been popular among old people who often use them for shopping at the market or transporting their harvest. Young people rarely use them, probably because it's seen as a device for older people. That's why the last time I used it, several people looked at me with interest, but I'm okay with that. I personally like this device. It's very convenient to use, as it saves you from carrying heavy things in your hands. And I'm very glad to see that in some European countries this is a very common thing for everyone. I hope that young people in Ukraine will also recognize the coolness of this device. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. До побачення, everybody. See you. Do you have in some Ukrainian да що ж таке? Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.